Hello, hello, hello. Hi, guys. Welcome here, welcome back. This episode of As the Tarot Turns is brought to you on purpose with purpose. I am your host, Nacho Mama. Some people call me Crystal, some people call me Criddle, like Riddle with a C. Either way, Nacho Mama is a personality, not a person. Today, we're going to read for the Capricorn collective, the what is my biggest obstacle for Capricorn. I've noticed that I've done a lot of whatever spirit wants us to know in the individual zodiac signs, kind of more general readings. So I figured I would start asking specific questions. And today's specific question is, what is my biggest obstacle for Capricorn? Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. I'm super excited to be where I'm at. Super, super excited. So thank you to everyone that has subscribed, and thank you in advance to all of you that are about to. Much love. So Capricorn. As some of y'all know, I was in Iowa for a memorial. It was one of the most beautiful memorials I'd ever been to. My friends lost their son. They were having this party, and it was an adult party, and this 15-year-old kid wanted to get into the party, and they wouldn't let him. So the kid went back and got a gun and shot up the house, and my friend lost their son. So I was in Iowa for a memorial for that. If any of y'all were wondering what any of those videos were about, that's what that was about. So Capricorn. Source, Spirit, Universe, please use me as a conduit to express the best message for what Capricorn's biggest obstacle right now is. What is the biggest obstacle for the Capricorn collective? For those that are watching this video. Capricorn. What is your biggest obstacle right now, Capricorn? Worry. What are you worried about? Your biggest obstacle is worrying. That's a lot of our biggest obstacles is worrying. Most of the time we worry about stuff that we don't even have any evidence that is actually going to happen, you know, and once we actually have enough information to justify worrying, then we have to go in and look to see if there's actually enough information to justify that worrying is actually going to help anything. So, worried about conflict? Or is your worrying creating conflict? Are you creating conflict by worrying, Capricorn? Usually worrying is a total waste of time. Worrying about some sort of collapse. Worried that you don't have enough, you know, like if the market goes down, like, do I have enough of this? It's like stockpiling this or that, you know, and kind of feeling like this collapse of energy, like worried about some sort of collapse. But I don't feel like it's a collapse like around you. I feel like you're worried about like global things. This feels very global, you know, and I still don't think, even if you have enough information to justify being worried, worrying isn't going to help anything. It's just going to make you feel anxious and not prepared and anxiety and fearful and, you know, constantly going through it in your mind. Okay, well, I need to get rice. I need to get this. I need to get that. And what about gas prices? And what am I going to do with my cat? And what am I going to do with my dog? And, you know, how am I going to feed them? What's going to happen here, you know? Being prepared is definitely different than being worried. I feel like a lot of you are worried. It's like this, but I feel it's like a global thing. I don't feel like it's like something that is in your immediate environment. I think it's like a projection of something huge, you know, like you're worried about something huge happening. You know, about some sort of major change, a collapse. But I feel this collapse is like a collapse of the system, you know, a collapse of healthcare, of groceries, of, you know, I just feel like you're worried about global issues. You know, and all we could do is do the best that we can with what we've got, you know. One thing that I learned from being at rainbow gatherings for so long, and if you've never heard of a rainbow gathering, I would definitely recommend checking that out, watching some videos and checking that out. the one thing that I learned about the rainbow is that every single one of us has a piece of the puzzle. You know, when rainbow comes together, like nobody starts with anything other than what they bring. And then everybody collectively together makes it possible. You know, and like one person might have water lines to run water, but doesn't know anything about how to tap it. You know, they just brought the lines. And then some person doesn't have any of the lines, but knows how to tap the water, you know, and individually, I think we all hold a piece of the puzzle, you know. Yeah, you're definitely worried about stability, but I really don't think that it's just your own personal stability. I think that you're worried about the world, Capricorn. I think you're super worried and in your head about the global things that are happening, you know? I mean, which is cause for concern for sure, you know, but worrying isn't going to help anything. You have support, supportive. Every single one of us has a piece of the puzzle. There are things that I know that you don't know. There are things that you know that I don't know. There are things that you have that I don't have. There are things that like we all carry specific pieces of that puzzle. And when we come together collectively, we make all the puzzle pieces fit. But I just feel this real, you know, like you are real uncertain, weary, worried, about the future, but not just your own future. Like it just really feels like a global, like your biggest obstacle right now is worrying about the entire world, like worrying about the world and the state of the world. Not knowing if you're going to have enough, not knowing if you're going to be enough, not knowing, you know, what's going to happen, which I mean, you get caught up in that rabbit hole, that can last for longer than, you know, you could be preparing for it. And then your kids inherit all the stuff that you prepared, you know. Preparing is not necessarily, it's not a bad thing to prepare, but to be worried all the time about global events, about the stock market crashing, about, you know, the prices of gas raising. I mean, we still pay more for a gallon of milk than we pay for fossil fuel. And the only reason why anything costs anything is because somebody said so. You know, at my work, I watched them cut the bag of ice. I mean, this is a small example, but they cut the bag of ice in half and still charge the same amount of money. You know, but people are still going to be paying that money because, I mean, somebody said so. You could go without it or pay it, right? But I really feel like this is a worry of global collapse. Like your obstacle right now is you worry too much, Capricorn. You worry too much about your stability. You know, prepare the best that you can for whatever it is that you're worried about. But it's better to acknowledge all of the possible possibilities, but don't spend your time living in one single possibility. You know, we have a tendency to pluck the worst possible case out of all the possible possibilities. We go and pluck the one that is the worst case scenario, and then we stick it in our pocket and walk around and focus on it and visualize it and frantically, you know, worry about it. And then we have this anxiety that when we wonder why we're so full of anxiety and fear. And then we wonder why we're so miserable, just as I'm talking about it. We wonder why we're so miserable. Because we walk around fantasizing about the worst possible case scenario all the time. Out of all of the possible possibilities, like, we're going to pluck the worst possible case scenario out and put that one in our pocket and hold it close to our heart and visualize it and dream about it and, you know, stay awake at night thinking about it, wake up in the morning like panicked. So number one, evaluate if you have enough detailed information or data to justify worrying in the first place. And then after you've done that, like, okay, sure, if there's enough detailed, justifiable data to be worried, then check in with yourself to see if there's enough data that worrying will help anything. It's a good practice to use on everything, right? especially if your number one obstacle is worry. Do the things that you can that you can do. Prepare for the things that you can prepare for. But don't go around holding the worst possible case scenario in your pocket and daydreaming about it and focusing on it and preparing for it. What can we get from the angels for the Capricorn collective universe? Be honest with yourself. Look into your heart and you will know the truth of the situation. It is safe to admit the truth to yourself, for we will support and guide you through any necessary changes. Lean upon us for courage and the strength to take good care of yourself. Focus only upon your true desires and they shall come to you upon angels' wings, right? That's part of like checking in with yourself. Like, okay, do I have enough information to be worried in the first place? And then what is worrying actually going to do to help the situation if there is enough data to worry about, you know? What are these? An assertiveness. The situation can be healed gently and with love as you've requested. Yet there's also a need for your strength and truthfulness with other people involved. We will stand right behind you as you speak your truth, giving you strength and guiding your words. All right, Capricorn. I believe that that's your mini message for what is your biggest obstacle right now. Your biggest obstacle is worrying. Worry. All right. I love you guys. And until next time, Nacho Mama out. Vroom, beep, beep.